Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Two Glowing Outdoors. This is your host Michael, and as you can see, I got a new bed for the Toyota pickup, the 1982 Toyota. Me and my brother and my dad recently made a trip to Texas to pick this bed up. We picked it up for $500. It's about a 10-hour drive there, 10-hour drive back, so a total round trip. It's about 20 hours, so it's quite a haul to get this bed. But as you can see, the bed is pretty much rust free. I mean, just some light surface rust. Has a couple dings in it, but overall I think this is about as good as you can find when it comes to finding a 40-year-old truck bed, especially a Toyota truck bed. This bed's originally from California, which explains a lot to why it's rust free. But this bed was also produced by Toyota back in 1982, actually in California. So basically, Toyota basically found out that it was cheaper to build the beds in California at the time than to build them in Japan and then ship them overseas. So this bed is actually a true California bed. It's lived in California for most of its life. But so far, that's just an update on the Toyota itself. The bed's not actually bolted on right now. I'm still going to go through and clean it up, sandblast it or acid dip it, and get it to where hopefully it'll never rust on me for another 40 years. Alright, so here's a quick look at what we're spraying. This is the Etch Primer. The one on the left's the actual Etch Primer, and then the one on the right's the Etch Primer Reducer. These get mixed up in a certain ratio, as you just saw. And this is what we're going to be spraying on our parts. Alright guys, so part one of the Toyota build. Today we're able to get the bed and tailgate completely sandblasted. We got a pretty good deal on the sandblasting, so I was pretty happy with that. So what we end up doing, as y'all saw, we end up sandblasting the bed and the tailgate. After we sandblasted the bed and tailgate, we put metal conditioner on it immediately after we sandblasted. As you can see, Christopher's in the back. He's laying down paint, and what he's actually laying down is called Etching Primer. Basically, Etching Primer is going to make it to where we can put this bed almost to the side for a couple months if we have to, but it will keep the bed protected and it'll keep the bed from rusting on us. Because if we don't, we'll basically start all the way back from scratch, all the way back from sanding again. So the actual etching primer that we're using, I already got a clip of it. I showed y'all. I'll show y'all now. Is actually called Martin Senior's etching primer, and from my understanding, this etching primer is completely awesome. Now, I don't know if you can really see it very well right here, but the actual etching primer will lay down in like an OD green. See, we call it Cadillac green because that's what my dad puts on all of his Cadillacs. But it'll lay down in an OD green. And we'll spray 2 coats of this stuff, and that will pretty much wrap up today's build. So hopefully y'all enjoy today's video. Big shout out to Christopher for helping us. Say what's up, Chris. But overall, that's going to wrap up our video today. Now, one thing to keep in mind is one little tip that I gathered from today from the guy that was sandblasting for me is after the parts are done sandblasting, he recommended and basically told me to make sure I put gloves on. So, if you sandblast the part and you're going to put it right back in your garage, you don't want all the oils from your hands and stuff on that piece of metal. And from my understanding, it'll ruin the finish, and you'll have to basically just re-sandblast again. And I think it has something to do with how it bites into the metal and it kind of just sits there, so you'll have to do it all over again. So I guess that's a tip for this part of the build. See, I never knew that. So other than that, this will wrap up the first part of the build for the Toyota pickup. Please rate, comment, subscribe.